Okay guys, here is your practice exam solutions. I decided to go ahead and make a video of this. Hopefully I can help you out. And hopefully you do a good job reviewing tonight for your exam tomorrow. I promise you it's going to look just like this. Make sure you go through and understand each and every problem. Alright, write an algebra expression for 9 times the square of a number. So 9 times the square of a number. So that was pretty easy. C. Number 2, write a verbal expression. A, the product of 2 times n and 7. That just means you multiply them all out, so that's not it. 7 less than is subtraction, so that's not it. 7 more than twice a number. That is it. B. Alright. Now, number 3, reviewing order of operation. Remember, you have to do the multiplication first, so that's 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. 12 minus 1 is 11. Alright, again, order of operation. 11 minus 5 is 6. Then 6 times 2 is 12. Now don't forget you have to do the division before you do the addition. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. So 12 plus 3 is 15. Alright, number 5. Again, order of operation here. Alright. We're going to square 3 is 9 plus, then you're going to multiply them all together. 3 times 5 times 4. And again, 3 times 5 times 4. So 5 times 4 is 20. 20 times 3 is 60. 60 plus 9. 69. Easy as that. The multiplicative inverse, remember inverse means canceling out. Alright, so what two things multiplied cancel out? And so 3 times 1/3 cancels out. Alright, A would be called the zero property. B would be the identity for multiplication. And C would be the zero property or the identity property because you're adding 0. Alright, again, more order of operation. So let's do inside the parentheses first. 20 divided by 4 is 5. 5 minus 5 is 0. 0 times anything is 0. So that's good. All this over here was 0. So the answer is just 29 times 1, which is 29. Alright. Evaluating an absolute value. So that would be the absolute value of 2 times d, which is 6, minus 3 times n, which is 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. Absolute value of 0, 0. Alright, simplifying. Alright, remember we're just combining like terms. 3r squared plus 1r squared is 4r squared. Now remember, you cannot combine exponents if they don't have the same exponent. So that's the answer. 4r squared minus 2r cubed. Alright. Distributive property. Now what I want to show you on this one though is whenever I saw 4y minus y, I just automatically changed it to 3y. So I'd rather you just go 3 times 2x plus 3y, and then when you distribute, that gives you 6x plus 9y right off the bat. Alright, so that was B. Alright, now look at number 11. Using the distributive property, 2a plus 6b plus 12a plus 3b. Combining like terms, 2a and 12a is 14a, 6b and 3b, which is 9b. So 14a plus 9b. Alright, now let's look at 12. Alright, so basically the price did not change. Okay, it stayed flat, which means the price did not change. That was pretty easy. Alright, let's look at the next one. Now remember, the domain is just the x coordinates. Alright, what are the x coordinates? The range would be what is the y coordinates. So in this case, I want you to look here. I want you to look at this x value, this x value. These, again, are the x values that are coordinates of those points. So this x value looks to me like 1, 2, 3, -4. The next x coordinate was -2. The next x coordinate was -1. the next x coordinate was 1. These coordinates are 1, and this over here is 4. Alright, so that is considered the domain. Those are the x coordinates of those points that are graphed. So it looks to me like -4, -2, -1, 1, 4. So that looks like B. Alright, now which is true about the relation? Alright, so what's true about this relation up here? Alright, now it doesn't pass the vertical line test, which means these x coordinates have 2 y coordinates. So that means that the relation is not a function. Alright, determine which relation is not a function. So it should be C, because again, this x value has 2 different y values. You're not allowed to have that. Notice all of the other x coordinates, -2, 0, 1, 3, -4, -3, 5, 6, and this over here passes the vertical line test. So the only answer is C. Alright? Interpret the y-intercept. Well, I looked at this and said that the y-intercept looks to me like around 30. Alright? Now, remember the y-intercept is what's going on when the x value is 0. And what are the x values? The x values are the bracelets. So here we have 0 bracelets, and the cost is about $30. That's why the correct answer is A. Again, that was really important, so hopefully you pay attention to that. Alright, now for number 17, we're just going to do distributive property. Well, actually, no, we're going to go ahead and substitute in and see how easy this is. 4/5, 200 minus 100. So we would just say 4/5 of 100, and we can do the math on that. That would be 80. Alright, so correct answer is 80. Number 18. Alright, now we're going to write this out. The sum, which means to add, twice a number in 13. So you're going to add twice a number in 13 is equal. Now we write 2 less than as -2, and then 3 times x. Okay? So 2x plus 13 equals 3x minus 2. Alright, so that had to be C. Alright, now let's look at this. 3 times the difference. Now, 3 times the difference, remember when I told you when the operations are written together, that requires the parentheses. So there is no parentheses here, so it can't be that one. So 3 times x, that's good. Now, less than y. So that would be y minus 3x. Okay, so that's not the answer. That's a good trick question, so be careful with that. Make sure you understand that. Alright, the sum means to add, so that's not the right answer. So it has to be D. 3 times x minus y equals 5 times the sum is that parentheses. Alright, so D is correct. Alright, now 20 is pretty easy. Add 13 to both sides, we get 21. 21 we divide by 5, right? When we divide by 5, that's going to be -15. Number 22, remember you're multiplying by the reciprocal, so that would be -8/3, -8/3. So a negative times a negative is a positive. 24 divided by 3 is 8. 8 times 8 is 64, so correct answer is 64. Alright, 5x plus 3 equals 23. Subtract 3. 5x equals 20, divide by 5, x equals 4. Alright, let's take a look at 24. Okay, 24 is important because when you have an absolute value, you have to write it twice. 3r minus 6 equals 21. 3r minus 6 equals -21. So 3r is equal to 27. R equals 9. 3r equals -15. R equals -5. Don't forget, I should put that, but at this stage you guys should be excellent at that. So my two answers are 9 and -5. Here we go. Now I want to make a quick note here. Alright, hint, hint, this is on the exam. If it's a negative, absolute values cannot equal a negative. So anytime the absolute value is set equal to a negative, just remember it's no solution. All right, solving this proportion, we just cross multiply. So 3c equals 30, divide by 3, c equals 10. All right, remember, multiply that. All right, solving 2x plus 7 equals 5x plus 16. Remember, I like to put the variable positive. All right, so to keep the variable positive, I move the 2x. All right, so those cancel. So now 3x is equal to negative 9. So x is equal to negative 3. So correct answer for 26 is A. All right, now in 27, it involves doing the distributive property, and then we have to combine some terms. Hey, so when we do the distributive property, we end up with 4x plus 20 equals x plus 5x plus 20 minus 2x. All right, then what we do is x plus 5x is 6x minus 2x is 4x. So now we end up with 4x plus 20 is equal to 4x plus 20. Well, that's an identity, remember? An identity, that means you're all real numbers. Any number will work. That's why the correct answer was C. All right? Now, 28. All right? So here we go. Negative 3 times h minus 6 equals 5 times 2h plus 3. Distributing. Negative 3h plus 18 equals 10h plus 15. Add 3h, minus 15, minus 15. So I end up with 13h is equal to 3. Divide by 13, so h is equal to 3 over 13. Correct answer is B. All right, here, solving the formula for L. All right, now I want you to be real careful. In order to solve this for L, you have to undo it. Lucky for us, all of this is multiplication. So to undo multiplication, you can divide. However, don't forget that the 1/3 is a reciprocal. All right, so if I have V equals 1/3 LWH, to get rid of the 3, I'm going to multiply by 3, and then I'm going to divide by WH, and that solves for L. Very simple. So 3V over WH. Washer B can wash 144 loads in 3 days. All right, so 144 in 3 days. And washer B, how many could it do in 10 days? So 10 is x. All right, so now here it's just a matter of cross multiplying. So you have 3x is equal to 1440. So now you divide by 3, so x is 480 loads. All right. Another way to do this would be to just take 144 and divide it by 3, and that would tell you how many loads per day, and then multiply that by 10. Okay? All right, now the word problem that everyone has a little trouble with, so let's talk about it. Remember, in this case, distance equals rate times time. So Mandy begins bicycling west 30 miles per hour. So I'm just going to write over here Mandy, and she's traveling at 30 miles per hour. And Liz leaves 20 minutes later bicycling at 36 miles per hour. So Liz is traveling at 36 miles per hour. All right. Now they both head off, but Liz has to wait 20 minutes. Now don't forget, 20 minutes is 1/3 of an hour. All right. Why is it 1/3 of an hour? Because obviously 20 out of 60 reduces to 1/3. 60 minutes in an hour. Don't forget that. All right. Now Liz is behind, so she's got to pedal faster to catch up, right? So we don't know how long Mandy is going to be traveling. So her distance is going to be 30 times t. We don't know her time. We do know that Liz started 1/3 of an hour later, so she's traveling at t minus 1/3 of an hour. All right. So this is what Mandy is traveling, 30t, and this is what Liz is traveling. And since they want to catch up, when Liz catches up, their distances will be what? Their distance will be the same. So it's just a matter of you saying 36 times t minus 1/3. That distance is equal to this distance. So 36t minus 12 is equal to 30t. So subtract 30t, so 6t equals 12. So it's going to take 2 hours. So Mandy will be writing for 2 hours. All right, and let's see what it says. When will she catch Mandy? Well, she'll be writing for 2 hours, right? So she left at 11 a.m. So in 2 hours, that'll be 1 p.m. All right, please review that. All right, that one's on the test too. All right, now we're into the next chapter. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So 16 minus 9 over negative 3 minus 1, 7 over negative 4a. Which one is not linear? Okay, linear just means it can be in the form y equals mx plus b. Some kids were confused. It doesn't have to be x and y. So that one is linear. This is a vertical line, so that's linear. This, if I multiply by 4, it gets x equals 4y, so that's linear. Excuse me. D is the correct answer because you can't divide by the variables. Dividing is not linear. All right, so the correct answer had to be D. All right, for 34, back to slope. So M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. 3 minus 3 over 5 plus 4, 0 over 9. Slope is 0. All right, don't forget if 0 is in the denominator, it would have been undefined. All right. Now in 2005, there were 12,000 students. In 2010, where there was 12,250, what is the rate of change? Again, highlight rate of change. That's a fancy word for saying what? Slope. You have to know that. All right. So they went from 12,250 to 12,000. So that was a change in 250 over a what year period? Over a 5-year period. So they averaged 50 per what? 50 per year. And that would be 50 students per year. All right, so that's a very good problem. Again, average rate of change, it doesn't mean they did 50 every year. It could have been like 100 one year and 0 the next, but still they averaged 50 students per year. All right, number 36. What we did here was the y-intercept is 0 because you're in the form y equals mx plus b. So then the slope is equal to up 2 and over 3. So I want you to be able to say c is a negative slope and a is a negative slope. So that can't be the right answer. 0, 0, up 2, over 3 would put me over here, so it's not b. 0, 0, up 2, over 3. So D is correct. 37, what's the slope intercept? Remember, y equals mx plus b, slope, intercept. Doesn't get any easier than that. 5x, then you just substitute in. 5x minus 8. Which line is x minus 2y equals 4? So in this case, my recommendation is probably to put it into slope-intercept form. So x minus 2y equals 4, negative 2y equals negative x plus 4, dividing by negative 2, you get y equals 1/2 x minus 2. All right, so now I'm looking for a slope or a y-intercept of negative 2 and a slope of 1/2. So I'm going to look at my graph. It's kind of hard to see, but that's the y-intercept. All right, now it looks to me like the only graph with a y-intercept of negative 2 looks to me like P. So that would have to be my right answer. But we'll double check. Up 1 over 2. So yep, that is correct. All right, P is correct. All right, 39. Which equation is the graph of vertical line? Remember, vertical lines are always x equals a constant. All right, and remember, a constant just means any number. All right, so the only one that has just x is C. all right? B would be your horizontal line because it's y equals, all right? That would be have a slope, so it's not vertical or horizontal, and same with D. All right, now remember, writing in standard form just means that A has to be positive. So right off the bat, you wouldn't select A or B. All right, so in standard form, AX plus BY equals C. So in this case, remember what I told you, you're not allowed to have fractions. So because you're not allowed to have fractions, we have to, I think it's best to get rid of the fraction first. So to get rid of the fraction, I'm going to multiply this side by 3, multiply this side by 3. So it becomes 3y minus 21 is equal to negative 2 times x plus 1. Now normally I do that in one step, but here I'm going to remind you. All right, so don't forget this 3 and this 3 cancels. All right, now I'm going to distribute the negative 2. So you end up with 3y minus 21 equals negative 2x minus 2. Add 2x to both sides. And add 21 to both sides. So I end up with 2x plus 3y equals 19. Correct answer, C. All right, next. Wow, this one, I don't know why that's on there twice. Sorry, guys. Y equals 5x minus 8. All right, now here again, this is kind of sneaky, so we got to try to find this point right here. I always like to try to make sure I see the x and y intercept because I've made mistakes in the past not identifying them. So I want to come over here. Right, so I can't really see the y-intercept. So looks to me like I'm going to have to write this in point slope form. That point is 2, negative 1. And then the slope would be up 2 over 1. So the slope is 2. Okay, so I'm going to write this in that form. Point slope, remember, is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So y plus 1 equals 2 times x minus 2. All right, now when I distribute, y plus 1 equals 2x minus 4. It looks like they put it in standard form. So I'm going to put it in standard form by subtracting y. So it would be, it would be 2x minus y is equal to, and then I would have to add 4. So that would equal 5. So 2x minus y equals 5. That was C. All right, that was a really important review question. All right, please look that one over too. I'm sure that's on the test. All right. Now here, which equation line passes through? All right, so we got to find the slope. So in order to write the equation, you always need a point and a slope. We have 2 points, so let's find the slope. So it'd be 3 plus 5 over 6 minus 2. 8 over 4 equals 2. And now we pick a point. So I'm going to do y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Y minus 3 equals 2 times x minus 6. Distributing, y minus 3 equals 2x minus 12. So adding 3, y equals 2x minus 9. Oh, but I just realized they want it in standard form. So if they want it in standard form, that means we have to move the x and y on the same side. So wow. No, actually, I'm looking at 44. Sorry. 2x minus 9 is my answer. Sorry, 2x minus 9. All right, 44. I was, All right, so you see what I'm saying. All right, so correct answer here is D. All right. Now on 44. All right, this one's really nice because this, I want you to remember, is the y-intercept. How do I know it's the y-intercept? Because the x-coordinate is 0. So I could just write this as y equals 2/5 x minus 3. But this is the one that they want in standard form, it looks like. Yeah, so on this one, man, if they want it in standard form, I feel like the only possible answer is C. But let's just verify that, all right? So we're not allowed to have fractions. So since we're not allowed to have fractions, we're going to go ahead and multiply everything through by 5. So that would be 5y equals 2x minus 15. And then, yep, 2x minus 5y is equal to 15. So if you just know that one fact, standard form, x, the leading coefficient must be positive, you didn't even have to do any work on that. But that was good to verify anyway. Okay? Now, down here, again, slope and y-intercept. So y equals negative 3x plus 5, but it looks like they want it in some form. I don't even see what they're doing here. So, wow, this is kind of strange. All right, so I think on this question, they're just wanting to see if you can recognize that this is the same as b. All right. Now, it might be written, oh, see, I know what they did. They're sneaky on this one. So I want everybody to pay attention on this now. Watch me. So I was smart in saying, well, I knew the y-intercept was b, so I'm going to use y equals mx plus b. Now, the other thing is, look right here, negative 3, and if the y-intercept is 5, it would be 0, 5. So now they want you to put it in point slope form, which would be y minus 5 equals negative 3 times x minus 0, which is the same as y minus 5 equals negative 3x. So that's how we got b. All right, so that was a very tricky problem there. So please do me a favor and look that over. All right, make sure you understand that one. That was kind of tricky. All right, next. What is the equation of the line through negative 2, negative 3 with slope 0? Well, anytime the slope is 0, it's y equals. So it has to be y equals negative 3. All right, horizontal line. All right, find the slope intercept form, all right, that is parallel. All right, so now if something is parallel, it has the same slope. So I have to find the slope here. So 12x is equal to 3y plus 10. Subtract 10, 12x minus 10 equals 3y. Divide by 3. So y equals 4x minus 10 thirds. Now notice the 10 thirds has nothing. We need the slope because parallel lines have equal slopes. So remember, this is where you said the slope of the parallel line is equal to 4, passing through the point negative 5, 3. All right, from here, so now I'm just going to write y minus 3 equals 4 times x plus 5. And now distributing, y minus 3 equals 4x plus 20. So adding 3, y equals 4x plus 23. So that's D. All right, correct answer for 47 is D. All right, now for 48, if a line is perpendicular, remember it was the negative reciprocal. So it's just the reciprocal of that, which is 8 thirds, and it's positive because that's negative. All right. A line of fit might be defined as, now it doesn't have to connect all the data points. It might be an estimate. Yes, of course. The line of best fit is just an estimate. Okay. Now, here, which data are shown by the scatter plot? So again, that's just an estimate. So 1995 is 5.5, so all of those are there. In about 1997, it'd be a little bit more. Yeah, so it has to be just this one. And then in 2004, yeah, so the correct answer is A. They're just trying to get you to recognize if you can see if it's close on one side or the other, all right, of the x-axis. All right, so that's easy. All right, now here, your line of best fit now. Let's review that real quick just to make sure. All right, so on your calculator, what you're going to need is you're going to need to remember to go to Stat, and then you go to Edit, and then this is L1 and this is L2. All right, so when you go, you hit the Stat button, then Edit, and then you type those numbers in for L1 is the X value, so you would enter 22, then you would enter 25, then you would enter 28, 29, and 33. Then under L2, you would enter 5, 7, 7, 9, and 8. All right, After you enter the data points, you then go over to stat, and then you go to calc, and then you go down to number 4, which is the line. All right, and then once you hit number 4, you just hit enter all the way through, and it will calculate the line of best fit, which in this case, the slope was 0.283. So the correct answer was B. All right. Now, if you want to know how many points were shot, the equation that they gave you would have been y, and this is directly off of your calculator, would have been 0.283x minus 0.56. All right. So now you just put 80 shots in for x. All right. So it'd be 80 times 0.283 minus 0.56, and you would come up with about 22 shots, or 22 points. All right, so again, review that. Stat, edit, enter, that would give you the, that would allow you to plug in those points. All right, L1 is X, L2 is Y. All right, remember, finding the inverse just means switch. So -1, 4, -2, 3, 9, 6, 5, 8. So inverse is just simply switching the x and the y. So correct answer is C. Now remember, when you find the inverse, y equals 3x minus 4, it's going to be x equals 3y minus 4. So you add 4, and then you divide by 3, because again, you're isolating the y value. So y is equal to 1/3 x plus 4/3, or we can just look and say that was the answer. Okay, now back to inequalities. Okay, so here we're just going to subtract 38 from both sides. So -89 is less than or equal to x, which means x is greater than or equal to -89. C. All right, here we have to add 3/8. Now remember, 1/2 is already 4/8. That means m is greater than 7/8. And if it's greater than 7/8, that means it starts at 7/8 and goes to infinity. Notice it's just an equal to, so that's why it's a parentheses. If it's greater than or equal to, it would have been a bracket. All right. So parentheses are when it's this way or this way. Bracket is when it's this or this. All right. In 57, don't forget when you multiply by a negative, you change the sign. So that'd be t is less than -8. So if t is less than -8, that means you're going from -infinity to -8. Now, if you're not sure about that, remember, you can just use the number line. Here's -8, less than, open, going in this direction. Don't forget -infinity is here and infinity is here. So that's why we say it's -infinity to -8. Here you're dividing by -3.5 again. And when you're dividing by -3.5, you have to change the sign. So z is greater than 42 divided by 3.5, I believe, is 12. So z is greater than 12. So that means you're starting at 12 and going to infinity. All right. Number 59, again, I like to try to keep the variables positive, so I'd subtract 4m. So I'm just going to write this out. 4w minus 6 is greater than 6w minus 20. So minus 4w, add 20, add 20. All right, so this would give me 2w, and then I would have 14 divided by 2, 7. Right, 7 is greater than w, so that makes w less than 7. All right, which was A. All right, here combining terms. 8r minus 5r minus 4 is greater than or equal to -31. 3r minus 4 is greater than or equal to -31. 3r is greater than or equal to -27. So r is greater than or equal to -9. B. All right, so which of the following is a graph? All right, so here, or, so generally or means you're going in opposite directions. So if you're less than -3, or, I did kind of make a mistake on this one, I think. Yeah, so I want to talk to you now because I did make a mistake on this. Usually they're going in opposite directions, but in this case they're both less than. So if they're both less than, remember we talked a lot about that. All right, so if you're less than -3 or less than 1, that means if they're going in the same direction and it's an or statement, it only has to be true for one of them, right? So all of these numbers are less than -3, and all of these numbers are less than 1. So the correct answer is anything less than 1. And the reason why it's anything less than 1 is because it only has to be true for one of the choices. So the correct answer was C. I'm not 100% sure, but for those of you guys who want to make a great grade, I think I want you to look this over, but I don't think I put that question on the test. All right, I think it's only the ones that would be going in opposite directions. Not 100% sure, but look this one over, but I don't think it's on the test. So if you're having trouble with it, it's okay. All right, let's look at 62 now. For 62, this is just the variable is between -1 and 2. All right, now this open circle, don't forget, means that it's not including. So if it's not including, it can't be B or it can't be C, right? The filled in circle here means equal to, so it has to be D. So again, this is open, this is closed, all right? This means I'm between -1 and 2. That means I'm between -1 and 2. All right, so here we go here. To solve this, remember we go -5, -5, -5. All right, which brings me to -9 is less than 3t less than or equal to 15. Divide by 3, divide by 3. So -3 is less than t, which is less than 5. So that just means that t is somewhere between -3. Uh-oh, I almost forgot the equal to sign. Correct answer is A. All right. Now let's look at this one. All right. So I'm adding t, or I'm adding 4, subtracting 4t. So I get -3t is greater than or equal to 12. Dividing by -3, don't forget to switch the sign, so t is less than or equal to -4. Over here, adding 4t, 7t is greater than 14. Divide by 7, t is greater than 2. Now again, this is an OR statement. So this is what I was saying. It's going to go in the opposite direction. So less than or equal to -4 and greater than 2. Less than or equal to is going this direction. Open circle going this direction. Correct answer is C. All right. Now here is where we had an absolute value inequality. So here I tell kids the only way to do it is just by doing all 4 problems until it matches up. Now the one thing's nice is these are obviously closed, so it has to be an equal to. So it can't be A and can't be B right off the bat. So if you're doing it smart, you would notice, look at the graph. So now for C, we're going to do x minus 2 is greater than or equal to 3. Then you do x minus 2 is less than or equal to -3. So when you add 2, it would be greater than or equal to 5 and less than or equal to -1. And what do you know? Greater than, equal to 5, less than or equal to -1. Correct answer had to be C. Okay. Now here we want 2x minus 3 to be greater than 4, 2x minus 3 to be less than -4, 2x is greater than 7, x is greater than 3.5, 2x is less than -1, x is less than -1/2. Now to me sometimes it's easier to look at the number line, so here's -1/2, here's 3.5, less than -1/2 is going this way, greater than 3.5 is going this way. That's infinity, that's -infinity. All right, so I'm going from -infinity to -1/2, union 3.5 to infinity. -infinity to -1/2, 3.5 to infinity. Correct answer is A. All right, now here, all right, we're into chapter 6 now, which just is a review of your systems of equations. All right, now we know that this has one solution because the slopes are different. All right, now we need to look over here at number 68 and put it in y equals mx plus b. So we have negative 3y equals negative 12x plus 3. Divide by negative 3, y equals 4x minus 1. So it looks like they're the same line, so that means they have infinitely many solutions. Okay. Now over here we got to put it in the y equal form, so it's going to be 2y equals 2x plus 6. Divide by 2, y equals x plus 3. Again, these slopes are the same, the y-intercepts are different. If the slopes are the same and the y-intercepts are different, that means that they are parallel. All right, so if they are parallel, that means they are no solution. All right? All right, let's knock these out real quick. So if y equals 6x, we can just go 2x plus 3 times 6x equals negative 20. 2x plus 18x equals negative 20. 20x equals negative 20, so x equals negative 1. Now I know x equals negative 1. I know it's not this. Now I just plug negative 1 back in here. So y equals 6 times negative 1, which is negative 6. Okay, so my answer is negative 1, negative 6, which is C. Again, doing a substitution down here because it's the way it's set up, I would say 4y minus 2, open parentheses, 2y plus 7 equals negative 14. Notice I'm taking this and I'm putting it in for x. So now 4y minus 14 equals negative 14. Those cancel. Now I've got an identity because it says negative 14 equals negative 14. So that means it is the same line, which means there are infinitely many solutions. All right, correct answer was D. All right, now for 72, we make a substitution. So I'm going to put this in here. So 2x minus 2x plus 6 equals 2. 2x minus 6 equals 2. Now again, these cancel out, but this time it's negative 6 equals 2, which is a contradiction. So that means there is no solution. No solution. All right. 73, again, we're going to substitute in here. So negative 2, open parentheses, 13 minus 2y, minus 3y equals negative 18. Distribute negative 26 plus 4y, minus 3y equals negative 18. Y equals, if I add, well, let's not be too fast. All right. This would be, sorry about that. Let's go ahead and make this negative 26 plus y equals negative 18. So add 26, y equals 8. So it's not C or B. Now I'm going to let y equal 8. So x is equal to 13 minus 2 times 8, which is 16. So x equals negative 3. Correct answer is D. All right, number 74 is really nice because you're adding them. These guys cancel. 2x equals negative 8. X equals negative 4. Come up here, plug in. So negative 4 plus y equals negative 9. So y has to equal negative 5. Negative 4, negative 5. Same thing down here. We can just add them together. So 7x is equal to 35. So x is equal to 5. Now we plug in for x equals 5. So 4 times 5 plus y equals 23. 20 plus y equals 23. So y equals 3. So 5, 3 is my answer. Now here, 76, you have to remember you have to distribute a negative. And I'm actually going to distribute the negative to the top. So that would be negative 3x minus 2y equals 1. And then 4x minus 2y equals, 4x plus 2y equals negative 6. right. Now when you add, you end up with x equals -5. So it's not A or B. Now you plug -5 in to the top equation. So 3 times -5 plus 2y equals -1. -15 plus 2y equals -1. 2y equals 14, so y equals 7. So -5, 7. All right, now we get into some word problems here. The sum of two numbers is 41. X plus y equals 41, and their difference, x minus y equals 5. 2x equals 46, so x 23. So 23 and 18. 4 times one number added to another number is 36. 3 times the first number minus the other number is 20, which is really nice because you can just add these. So 7x equals 56, so x equals 8. All right, now I want to make sure I get the right one. So I'm going to plug 8 back in. So 4 times 8 is 32 plus y equals 36, so y had to equal 4. Yeah, 8 and 4 is correct. Okay, the length of the rectangular poster is 10 inches than it is wide. All right, so the length is 10 inches longer than the width, so the width plus 10. The perimeter is 124. So this you had to remember that perimeter equals 2L plus 2W. So 124 is equal to 2L plus 2W. Now L is W plus 10. So W plus 10 plus 2W. All right. So 124 plus 2W plus 20 plus 2W. So 124 equals, not plus, sorry guys, equals 4W plus 20. Now for me, I divided by 4. So 31 equals W plus 5. So the width would have been 26, which is what they want, 26, because it says it right there. Okay, so for number 80 now, what we want to do is we want to solve, right? So to do this, it looks like I'm going to have to multiply both of them. All right, so I'm going to have to multiply the top by 3 and the bottom by 2. So 9x plus 6y equals -27. And then 10x minus 6y equals 8. Remember, we did that because we want to eliminate one of the variables. All right? So now 19x is equal to, well, that worked out, -19. So x equals -1. So I know it's not D. Now I plug -1 in. So I end up with -3 plus 2y equals -9. Adding 3 to both sides, 2y equals -6, so y equals -3. So -1, -3. Beautiful. All right. 81, again, multiplying by, this time by 3 and 4, will eliminate the x's. So 12x minus 6y equals 96. -12x minus 20y equals -44. Add them. -26y is equal to 52, so y equals -2. Now look how nice this one is. The only y value with the -2 is b, so I'm going with that. All right? So let's do this. 8 times a number plus 5 times another number is -13, and the sum of the two numbers is 1. So x plus y equals 1. So let's find this. So now I'm going to multiply this by -5, and that will eliminate the y's. So 8x plus 5y equals -13. -5x minus 5y equals -5. 3x equals -18. So x equals -6. Now I want to look at my answers. Wow, that's good news because there's only one answer with -6, so we'll go with that. 83. 2 times a number plus 3 times another number equals 4. 3 times the first number plus 4 times the second number equals 7. Alright? Sorry, I just want to see how many I go because time is running out. Alright, so now here I want to multiply by 3 and by negative 2. 6x plus 9y equals 12. Negative 6x minus 8y equals negative 14. X's cancel. Y equals 2. Yay, the only one is C. Alright? Alright, I'm going to put it on pause for a minute. I don't finish up here. It's going to be a little loud because I'm in the gym during the beginning of the day, and we might get a little Christmas music in the background, but that's okay. Alright? So number 84, we're just going to talk about setting these up. So he invested $10,000. So it was X plus Y equals 10,000. Then some of it was at 6%, so that's 0.06X plus 0.09Y, and he had a profit of $684. All right. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to remind you how to plug this in on the calculator. All right. So let's do it on the calculator. So Y1 is equal to 10,000 minus X, and Y2 would be parentheses 684 minus 0.06X divided by 0.09. Now the thing is, you got to go to your window and you got to change the domain. I wanted you to change your domain from 0 to 10,000. And you're saying, well, how did I know that? I knew that because there was $10,000. All right. Then once you do that, you go to Zoom Fit. You go to Zoom Fit, and then that will graph the lines. And then you find the point of intersection by doing calc. And then if you remember, calc is number 5, I thought. Yeah, it was number 5. So you hit second, calc 5, then you hit enter, 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 and that will take you to the correct answer. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and do that on my calculator just to make sure everything is good. So I'm going to type in 10,000 minus X, and then I'm going to type in parentheses 684 minus 0.06X. Then I'm going to divide that by 0.09. All right, then I go to window, 0 to 10,000. And then we're going to zoom fit, and then you will notice that the graph looks like this, and then it's over here. All right, and that's the point of intersection. So second calc 5, enter, 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 and it came out with 7,200 is the 6%, and 2,800 is the 9%. Okay? Now let's look at 85. So it says, Laura and Brent paddled a canoe for 6 miles upstream in 4 hours. And then the return trip took 3 hours. Well, because it took less time, they had to be going with the current. So the boat plus the current in 3 hours traveled 6 miles, but the boat minus the current took 4 hours, and that went 6 miles. So now we have to, I think we should divide by 3. So the boat plus the current would be 2 hours, and the boat minus the current would be 1.5 hours. So now we can add them. 2b equals 3.5. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. So the boat was going 1.7 miles per hour. So that's why the correct answer was B. All right, last one. Sorry for the noise, but we get this. The sum of the digits of a 2-digit number is 11. So T plus U equals 11. If the digits are reversed, now remember, 10T plus U was the original. So if you reverse the digits, it would be 10U plus T. So if the digits are reversed,
I'll be back strong.
10u plus t is equal to, you're on video, thank you, 10u plus t, thank you, Miss Diorio, 10u plus t is equal to 45 more than the original. So now we're going to combine terms here. So this would be, I'm going to subtract 10t and subtract u. So if I subtract 10t and subtract u, I have 9u minus 9t equals 45. Now I can divide by 9, u minus t equals 5. And then up here, I'm going to bring down u plus t equals 11. Add that together. 2u equals 16. So the units digit is 8. The only one with that is B. Now, of course, I know you can figure that out on your own, because if the digits add up to 11, it could only be 2 and 9, 3 and 8, 4 and 6, 4 and 7, 5 and 6, 6 and 5, 7 and 4, 8 and 3, 9 and 2. Those were your only choices. All right, but again, I hope that helped. All right, so again, that is the end. That's the exam review. If you do those problems and you know how to do it, you will ace the exam. I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas, and hopefully this helped. Have a great day, and good luck.